So good evening students. Today we will study about the chapter tissue. I think you can see it. This is tissue. We have studied about the cells in the last chapter. Now what was actually the cell? Cell was the basic structural unit of life. A single cell, for example, of the unicellular organisms is capable to perform all the functions which a multicellular body performs. Now, in the formation of the multicellular organism, the cells have to be aggregated together so that they can form a tissue. Now, what is the major difference between the cell or a tissue? That a cell is a single one when a large number of cells combines together to perform a similar function, then such cells group, or we can say the group of cells, can be recognized as tissue. So we can write here the difference or the definition of tissue like this: a group of cells having similar function and have a common origin is called a tissue. So I think you have got it that a tissue can be written as it is a group of cells which performs or having a similar function, which perform similar functions and have a common origin. Common origin means they have been originated from a common source. All the cells have a origin. For example, there are different types of cells we have studied in the last chapter. For example, the nerve cell we have studied. We have studied the cell of an ovum. We have studied the cell of a nerve and the cell of a muscles. So there are large number of cells. Now for tissue, if we study the tissue, we can take the example of blood. Again we can take the example of neurons. Again muscles, bone. All these forms a tissue. Now the tissue of the plant and the tissue of the animals are different. Why they are different? Because we know that the plants and the animals are very much different from each other. For example, we can say that the plants are fixed at one place and the animals moves here and there in search of their food. Similarly, the plant prepares their own food by the process of photosynthesis, as you have studied earlier in your junior classes. Now, the animals cannot prepare their own food. They have to go here and there in search of food, or we can say they are dependent on the plants or the other animals. Similarly, the plants do not have blood and animals have blood. Plants do not have a large number of different organs like that of us, we can say humans. They have different organs. So different organs have to perform different functions, and all these functions will be performed by a group of organs, and the organs will be made by the different tissues, and the tissues will be composed of a similar functioning cells. That means a group of cells which have a similar function, but they have to be a common origin, because if the origin will be different, then we can say the functions will also be different. Now we will study about the different type of tissues in plants and animals. So first of all, we will study about the different type of plant tissue. Okay, so welcome back students. Now we will study the plant cells. For the plant cells, on the basis of the dividing capacity, we can write like this: plant tissue, plant tissue. On the basis of dividing capacity of cells, or we will write tissues, dividing capacities of tissues, they can be broadly categorized into two types, and these are: number one, meristematic tissue, meristematic tissue, and the second one we can write the permanent tissue. Clear? So we can say the plant tissue can be divided into two parts, that is on the basis of the dividing capacity of the tissues, and these are the meristematic tissue and the, what is this, the permanent tissue. Now what is meristematic tissue? If we want to know, meristematic tissue can be written as the tissue which undergoes continuous division. That means these tissues are dividing continuously. For example, if it is of one tissue, then it will divide into two, and then from 2 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 16, likewise. They will continue divide, and due to this division property of the meristematic tissue, we can say the growth of the plant take place. For example, when we are putting a single seed, the seed starts germinating into a sapling, and that sapling forms a huge plant. This growth of the plant is only due to this meristematic tissue. If the tissues will not divide continuously, then the growth of the plant will also stop. So in the height wise we can say, in the girth wise we can say, and all the aspects, all the growth of the tissue or the plants is responsible due to this tissue. When the tissues stops growing, that means they will now not further divide, then these tissues are recognized as permanent tissue. Now we can write about the permanent tissue that the permanent tissue are the tissue which does not divides further. That means it had stopped dividing. So when the tissue stops dividing, then such tissues are categorized as permanent tissue. So let us see what are the subparts of this meristematic tissue and that of the permanent tissue. Let us see it with the help of a flow chart. Now, I am writing here plant tissue. Plant tissue. This plant tissue, as I had said now, can be divided into two parts broadly. That is, the first part is meristematic tissue. Meristematic tissue, and the second one is permanent tissue. The two types of tissues. Now this meristematic tissue can be of three types on the basis of their findings and location, we can say, or occurrence or position where they are found and what functions they perform. The functions will be very easy. The occurrence, the position where they occurs only on that part, that particular tissue will helps in the growth after division. So these are of three types. We can write it here like this. The first part will be apical meristematic tissue. Apical meristematic tissue. The second one will be the lateral meristematic tissue, and the third one will be intercalary meristematic tissue. Now, what the functions are to be performed? Apical meristematic tissue means these tissues will be found in the tips of the plants. Tips of plant means it may be in the root tip or it may be in the shoot tip. before going into this, we have to study about this meristematic tissue first. Now what this meristematic tissue says, we will write about it. Now beta, about this permanent tissue. Now permanent tissue are incapable of division. हम लिख सकते हैं यहाँ पर incapable of division. That means इनमें और डिविजन्स नहीं होते, ये रिप्रोडक्शन नहीं करते। अब 1 से 2, 2 से 4, 4 से 10 ऐसे ये नहीं बनते। इनके नंबर्स फिक्स होते हैं। जो मेरिस्टेमेटिक थे वही सिर्फ आएंगे परमानेंट बनने के लिए। ठीक है। नाउ ये भी दो तरह के हैं। परमानेंट टिश्यू आर ऑफ 2 टाइप्स अगेन। एक को हम कहेंगे बेटा सिंपल परमानेंट टिश्यू, सिंपल परमानेंट टिश्यू, और दूसरा होगा बेटा कॉम्प्लेक्स परमानेंट टिश्यू। अब ये सिंपल और कॉम्प्लेक्स किस बेसिस पर डिवाइड किया गया है, तो हम इसको लिख सकते हैं द सिंपल परमानेंट टिश्यू हैव ओनली one type of tissue, only one type of tissue, only one type of tissue, and यहाँ पर multiple type of tissue, multiple type of tissue। यानी कि जब हम इसको स्टडी करेंगे तब आप देखोगे कि इस सिंपल परमानेंट टिश्यू में सिर्फ एक ही तरह की टिश्यू है, जबकि कॉम्प्लेक्स परमानेंट टिश्यू में टिश्यू का नाम तो एक है लेकिन उसी के अंदर कई अलग तरह की टिश्यूज कंपोज्ड हैं। दैट मीन्स बहुत सारी टिश्यूज मिल करके वो एक पर्टिकुलर टिश्यू की फॉर्मेशन करते हैं। तो ये बेसिक डिफरेंस है सिंपल परमानेंट में और कॉम्प्लेक्स परमानेंट टिश्यू के लिए। अब सिंपल परमानेंट टिश्यू को अगर हम देखें तो दीज आर ऑफ 3 टाइप्स। बेसिकली ये 3 तरह के हैं। एक हम इसको बोलेंगे कॉलनकाइमा, कॉलनकाइमा। दूसरा हो जाएगा बेटा पैरेन्काइमा, और तीसरा हो जाएगा बेटा स्क्लेरेन्काइमा। स्क्लेरेन्काइमा ये 3 तरह के। और कॉम्प्लेक्स परमानेंट टिश्यू ये होंगे 2 तरह के। एक होगा बेटा जाइलम और दूसरा पार्ट इसका बन जाएगा फ्लोएम। ये 2 तरह के कॉम्प्लेक्स परमानेंट टिश्यू होंगे। ठीक है। अब इन सब के बारे में हम और नेक्स्ट लेक्चर में स्टडी करेंगे डिटेल्स में। तब तक के लिए गुड डे।